Hello, I'm the CommanderZander. I remember it so the nostalgia critic doesn't have to. And neither should you. Alright, you saw the role models. Do you want to see another pair of role models that Mr. Willie did a review of, or I guess summary of, and recommended it? Oh, yes, 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 I'd like to be recognized. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Well, I got the proof. That's right, Night at the Roxbury, another SNL short-turned movie. What's wrong with SNL films, shorts that turn into movies, and not do well other than Wayne's World? Wayne's World seems to be the bar when it comes to SNL skits turned movies. And no one else has been able to duplicate their success, because it's tough to turn a skit into a lengthy movie. Night at the Roxbury, at least, is in the mid-range section where it's decent enough. It's a pair of brothers who like to jump and hop through bars and try to be Mr. Cool, Mr. Suave, Mr. Fantastico, only to get rejected, and are determined to live the life that is so cliche. But can they overcome their powers and being mind drained by him and ultimately come together and accomplish it? Well, let's take a look. This is Night at the Roxbury. Paramount gets credit for the movie, and no, this is not for monetary purposes. This is strictly for review. Now, if you do love that pendant song with the head bobbing, you will enjoy this movie, because you'll see this song throughout the movie, including the head bobbing, which you'll see right away, because right off the bat, you basically see what is a typical skit with the Butabi brothers, played by Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell. Doug and Steve Butabi, with the head bobbing. Can't get any addictive than that. Doing their thing. Eventually they get booted out. Hey, at least they got their own car.
I broke the window again.
How does he not suffer any head bleeding or anything when his head bobs? It doesn't even look like that. It's bobbing the damn window. Now I know they have these special effects to make it look like his head banged into the window. But don't you think his whole side that hit the window should be bleeding by now?
Dad's gonna be pissed. Don't worry about it. I'll just tell him you did it.
Apparently his face is so
I know.
attractive that it penetrates from any damage, so it cannot possibly get bleedy. So they go to the Mud Club. Notice the time. These are nocturnal people that like to chill throughout the night and do shit in the morning. They get pulled over by a random cop. Doug telling Steve
What's up?
Not much. Just giving you a
to
$90 tip.
get the lady's attention.
So into you.
Really? You think a police officer that's trying to issue a ticket is into some random person?
Please obey all posted speed limits.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he thinks he's gotten a date from him because he got a fucking ticket with her name on it and an address of where to go for said court meeting.
Way to go, my friend. You got her badge number, plus a month from now you got a date to meet her at the municipal state court. Up top.
I don't think that's very cool. That's very cool. Slapping him in the face. Eventually they embark on the Roxbury. And all its gloriousness. Except they ain't gonna get in. Oh yeah, this guy. It's Ricky Bobby's pit crew chief. The typical bouncer will not let you in. Eventually they don't get in. They have to wait in line. The line waiting to get into the Roxbury stretched all the way out to Hollywood. And I was at the end of it.
So I'm standing there, waiting to use the payphone. And this
There are random clips, one of which has somehow him having goldfish while telling a story of meeting Emilio, the mighty Dutchman. But they don't get into the Roxbury. So the next day... Good lord, look at their fucking room. Man, they're living the good life, don't you think? This is their dad. You might remember him from the Addams Family. You know, the guy that was trying to get rid of the Addams Family. Well, now he's trying to straighten out Steve and Doug Butabi into a flower shop. Oh, by the way, he's attracted to some random credit card approver. But they own a flower, or they run a flower shop.
Hi, Doug. Your nightclub is so cool.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. They also go working out.
Yes, I have a fantasy that I have two capable sons. Not one with his head up in the clouds, and the other with his head up his ass.
That's a nice fantasy, except he's way too mean. That's pushing them to do their fantasy. He's trying to prevent them from their fantasy because he is like them at his age, when he was their age. It kind of all makes sense when Richard Grieco talks of. Oh, I just gave away a big spoiler. Richard Grieco's in this movie. As a matter of fact, you're going to see him soon. Oh my god! Jeez, no one needs to see that! Yeah, those are role models, alright. Good lord.
Steve, I'll be right back. Steve! I like your bathing suit. It looks really good on you because you have...
This is Molly Shannon, not the first flick or movie that she's in. She, of course, is attracted to Steve and all his manliness, if you even want to count it as manliness. Yeah, this is kind of a Romeo and Juliet type theme too, where the two will ultimately get together. At least the two families want to get together. Although in Romeo and Juliet they didn't want to get together. In this case, they want to get together, even though they're rivals, because one's a lamp shop and the other's a flower shop, and they want to combine to be the first floral lamp shop. Not really a good fantasy. I can think of a million things that I can do that are way, way better than running a flower lamp shop. But hey, that's their fantasy. Can't deny them that. So, like I said, they again attempt to go to the Roxbury. They try to bribe the bouncer, and that clearly is working out quite well because he turns them down again, and they try to go to an ATM. They run into, yes, Richard Grieco.
I'm screwed. I'm really screwed.
And this is their one-way ticket to get into the Roxbury, because Richard Grieco could be in trouble with the law because he has an illegal sports car. So, to avoid any legal issues, he, of course, is going to do whatever the Butamis want to do, which is go to the Roxbury. Cha-ching! Jackpot! This is where they meet the owner. His henchman is a big evil villain, if you even want to consider him a villain in this movie. There really isn't much of a villain in this movie, but if there is one, that's probably him.
Did you grab my ass? No, sir. I did not grab your ass.
The owner is obsessed with his ass being grabbed for some strange reason, but in any event, they talk about an indoor-outdoor club, and while that's going on, hello. Why don't you be like those two? Those two are future role models. Get it? Models? Yeah. Alright, fine. I'm not that funny. Moving on. Okay, so eventually, these four get together, have the time of their lives, especially in a limo, which leads them to big fancy mansion. Hey, Playboy, isn't that what you're supposed to be getting at some point and you still haven't? Okay, don't talk to me about that. I'm not in a good mood about this mansion crap. What the hell am I gonna... Yeah, you can talk about it in your video. This is my review.
Oh, right. Oh.
Steve is slow to realize, hey, they want to do it. Like, really do it. Which, of course, the Butamis are not used to because they've never gotten that far. Eventually, they do do it. Holy crap, 42 fucking seconds? That's like a random number to say 42 seconds later after doing it for the first time. They meet up and say, wow, this is awesome. They're going to go back in there and do it. And they get their number. And they're living the life. They feel like they've reached the peak of their careers. They now know what to do. And then all of a sudden, things go south, starting with this.
Even your brother is not convinced. Why? Because he uses his brain, unlike you.
They go meet up with Zander. Mr. Zander. Even the elevator music is the head-bobbing music. I told you this song appears just about every part of this movie. They try to get in to meet this Mr. Zander, but guess who gets in the way? Mr. Evil Henchman. Yeah, I'm sure that worked out well.
What's going on? Just a couple of trespassers, sir. Did you find the boys from last night?
Of course he lies and says he hasn't found him, even though he does find him and boots him out because he's an evil henchman.
Did you just grab my ass?
Okay, what is wrong with Mr. Zander? Why is he so obsessed with his ass being grabbed? Good lord, he's a nut job. How he manages to own a fabulous place as the Roxbury is beyond me when he's obsessed with his ass being grabbed. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the daddy takes the car away, so they're stuck with the flower van.
Yeah, and maybe we should go to...
So they try to hook up with the girls who did it with them the night before, and it turns out they're only obsessed with them for the money because they don't know what their real life is until now.
Ma'am, you're gonna have to check your bag. The movie on this...
Spoiler alert, they're about to be dumped.
I don't know, I can't think of any more.
So after they get dumped, they ultimately break up as brothers while driving home on the freeway because, 5 o'clock rush hour traffic. They split up. Yeah, he goes across the pool, literally across this pool to a separate house that's within this landscape, and he gets his own private hotel room, basically. Look, it comes with its own elliptical bike machine. And a mirror, a big fancy mirror in the background. So they go through their divorce, and ultimately,
You're forgetting.
guess who runs into Steve? Molly Shannon.
Look, it sounds good, but I just got out of this very serious relationship, and it's going to take some time to nurse my emotional...
It wasn't really that serious of a relationship. She was into you because she thought you had money, which you don't, because they're fucking hookers, I think. That's probably why they were trying to do it with some random Asian people and got interrupted by the Butabis, and then, yeah. So it's not really that serious of a relationship. Hell, Playboy's been in a more serious relationship than that.
Well, that could take, until Saturday.
Well, I give him credit. At least he recovers quickly. Ish. Yeah, it works out because,
Dad got us tickets to see David Copperfield.
David Copperfield? What's so great about David fucking Copperfield?
Things appear, disappear.
Oh, you are so... Alright. Man, why can't that be me and Molly Shannon? She is so fucking hot. So, of course, they go on their date. She moves in with him, and she's talking about having him go to school. And,
Oh, here's one. Business computer.
wow, that was kind of convenient. Touch her bosom, and she sparks an idea. I wonder what happens if she... Yeah, not even going to go there.
Systems. That's a
Meanwhile, Doug seems to be doing pretty well. Back in the nightlife with his workout training coach.
This place has got it going on.
Willie, that kind of looks like you when you're first going into a bar. Ah, that kind of sent me up on my... Oh my god, this party is kicking ass! Oh my god, will you please stop it? You just basically reenacted this scene that I'm showing right now. Yeah, Steve and, what's her name, Molly Shannon are gonna get married. So the families get together, they talk about their plans, and wedding day, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Why is he the best man? Because he's next in line, because Doug's an asshole and is not going.
Not the wedding bouncer. You just gotta back me up.
Beforehand.
Sorry I missed you. Is that why she is her? Or you know when she's sleeping, she makes a...
He has his
Steve!
gut feeling about the wedding, and so he talks to Doug about it, but Doug, being the asshole that he is, look at that fucking beer he devoured.
Hi, you reached Doug Butabi. I'm not here right now because I'm outside living it up. I like my pussy whip brother, who's too busy throwing his life away for Emily. Beep.
Doug!
Being the idiot that he is, he thinks that's an actual voicemail, even though it's not. It was Doug being an asshole.
Forever. And, like one of your silk plants.
So, after Emily and Doug, or Steve rather, are on the brink of getting married, who comes in to save the day via the radio box cliche with, yes, you guessed it, the head bobbing song? Okay, note to the Butabis. Don't plan your wedding in the same backyard where the rebel Doug is going to be coming out to save the day. Because that's exactly what happens. The wedding is off. The trainer then goes to marry Emily. Those two live a happy life, we assume, in products and merchandising. Doug and Steve get back together. And Richard Grieco has a heart-on-heart talk with the dad, while the doggy is devouring what's left of the cake in the background, something you may never notice unless you watch this review. So eventually, the Butavis get back together and realize, hey, what's this? Why, none other than the club that we came up with, where the outside looks like the inside, and vice versa. And they get profits and all that, and guess who they run into? Why, none other than the credit card approval lady, and guess who happens to be her friend that she hangs out with? Oh, for those who don't remember, the cop lady! Yeah. Yep. Oh, for crying out loud. And oh, by the way, if you weren't getting tired of this song before, guess what? The movie, to no one's surprise, ends with the head bobbing song.
No. Yes.
Great acting. Yes? She was probably looking at the prompt saying, yes? So they go to the center of the dance floor, dance the night away, and that's how the movie boogies on out of here to some degree. So that is Night at the Roxbury. It's not great. I mean, it kind of is a cliche of every movie that you've seen before and another attempt for SNL to turn a skit into a lengthy movie. But to their credit, at least this one is only barely under an hour and a half long. So, I mean, yeah, not long. So, at least it didn't drag on. And you kind of got a good pace to it. But it's still not a great SNL skit turn movie. It's not bad. It's just not great compared to Wayne's World. But if you're looking to dance the night away, or you're looking to get some tips on how to pick up some chicks, then probably watch this movie. You probably might learn something from the Butabis. Otherwise, if you're in it just for the musical song, yeah, you could probably listen to it over and over on YouTube. But still, if you like this movie, go check it out. I think it's not that bad. It's not great, but not bad. But that's my thoughts. So check it out. I'm the CommanderZander. I remembered something that sounds great, don't have to, and neither should you.